Yes, I only meant like that because uh, I'm a black man. I am a Negro. That's what the term Negro means. It's just black, and that I am. I don't consider myself African American because I'm not from Africa. I'm black, and I'm an American, and so thus the term Negro, and the with knowledge part is just it's not being pompous or arrogant in any way. Even though I know it sounds that way. But I was just confident in naming my page that because I knew I wasn't being arrogant. It's just a Negro with knowledge is somebody when you have knowledge, there's nothing that the people who would try to get you to conform can do with you. And it said that one of the most complete and influential people in this world is a black man with knowledge. So um, that's pretty much where it is. Yeah, I noticed that even with some of my black friends, with me using that term, they're like, isn't that kind of racist? And I'm like, coming up, I heard that word so much. Like we are the Negro people, all of our Negro ancestors. It's really not demeaning at all. Again, it just means black. But I think essentially with white people, it's too close to the N word, so they don't want to use it because black people are always looking for a reason to um make the tensions, to kind of create tension between them and whites anyway. So they would take that and run with. Oh, he said Negro. Oh, he said nigger. My opinion is this. Um, I won't allow racism to alter my life. So if a person wants to call me a nigger and they saying and I can tell that they trying to be demeaning towards me, I have a choice to make at that moment. I could attack that person, or I could turn the same energy and turn it right back around on him. But doing those things, I could possibly go to jail, even though I may be able to bail out. But um, now I've wasted my money on something that a person was just being stupid about. Or the person, I could attack the person, and the person could kill me right then and there, and then my kids don't have a father anymore. So I decided within myself I'm not gonna allow racism, especially not a word, to alter my life. I'm in a really good place right now, and I have a good job. I just bought my first home, about to have my third child. I mean, God has been really good to me. I'm not gonna allow somebody who wants to insult me to change that unless I absolutely have to. And I don't have to respond if a person wants to call me a nigga. As you stated, we use the term, and the way I look at it as, black people say white people should use the N word, but then they turn around and they call people crackers or wetbacks or whatever the case may be. And I feel like you should put the same energy out that you want to get back. So if you really against racism, then don't use racist terms. And that's how I feel about it. You can't call a white person a cracker in their face, or while you at home around your kids, and then when they say nigger, now you get mad. It's hypocritical, and I think that's just the most pragmatic way of approaching it. If you don't want racism on you, then don't use racist terms yourself. No, and I've actually posed that question several times. I really like when the conversation comes up because it allows me to ask people, okay, what is President Trump doing as the president? The power that he has with the power of executive order or cutting regulations or things of that nature. Or what is this administration doing that tells you that clearly he wants to oppress black people, or he is oppressing black people, or any type of minority? What is it that you see that he's doing? Because to be honest, I didn't vote for President Trump because I didn't take him seriously. I studied him fairly closely during the race, and every time I would hear him talk, I just didn't think he was serious. I didn't take him seriously at all, and I thought it was just another way to wash his money or something. I thought that Hillary Clinton would win hands down, but when he did win, I said, okay, I'm gonna just sit back and watch him. And I watched him all the way up until the tax cuts of December of uh, a, ye- a year ago, or a year and almost 2 years ago now. And once I saw the tax cuts and how good they were for Americans, I said, this guy is America first. And I couldn't believe it. But ever since then, again, I've been following him closely, and I still don't see any signs that he wants black people to go back to Africa, or he wants less success for Africans. I mean, he's giving money to HBCUs, he's giving money to the Flint, Michigan water crisis. I mean, I can go on and on. The record low unemployment for blacks. He's finally calling out the Democrats in all of these big cities who are they in charge of these big cities for so long, but the cities are just torn down. As a matter of fact, all of the places that we know in America, the biggest, most prominent places that are majority black, all of those places are run by Democrats. So no, I'm not seeing anything or any evidence that President Trump is a racist. So I just don't see. I think it's a fairy tale. I honestly do. I think there is a sect of people in the public, and I would hope that they are the majority that certainly is getting tired of that narrative. But there also, conversely, is a sect of people who, they fall into a hook, line, and sinker every time. And honestly, quite frankly, I think those are the unlearned individuals who just because I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Sonya, but the missing link between a liberal and a conservative, which, if you boil it down to brass tacks, let's just keep it within the black community. Black people are conservative. They want their guns, they want all of their money, and they don't want the government bothering them. That doesn't sound like a liberal to me. But the missing link between a liberal and a conservative is information. That's the only missing link. And for you to fall into the racism narrative every time clearly shows that you have focused your attention on something other than the subject at hand, whether it be the music that you love or your lustful desires that you are chasing after, or whatever the case may be. You got your head in the sand at some point along the line for you to be this misinformed about what's actually going on, because you in essence you're telling me that grass is purple because you're saying this person is a racist, but all of the data shows otherwise, and it's factual. It's not opinions, So I think they just lazy and don't want to get the information. I don't consider myself a Republican by no stretch, and I always try to make that clear distinction. There are some Republicans and Republican policies that are anti-biblical, and that's where I get my that's where I get my ideology from. If the policies line up with biblical values, then that candidate, whether he's a heathen or not, he may not even he may be godless, but if I can see that he's gonna put those policies at the forefront, uh, at least majority of it, then that's probably who I'm going to support. And there's some Republicans that support abortion, and, big government, and big pharma. Big pharma is another thing that I have a major beef with. So I'm not a Republican by any stretch. I'm a conservative. I'm a Christian conservative is what I consider myself. It just so happens that Trump is the face of conservatism today, but no, I'm definitely a conservative and not a Republican, because coming up, I always thought that the Democrats were for black people, and now that I now that I understand the history a little bit better, I understand why. They signed the Civil Rights Act into law, and there was a lot of lost information on that as well, which is why so many black people still believe that today. But right after I voted for Obama, then I started to understand the wickedness in government and just the way things are, and how um, 95% of the politicians in Washington are corrupt, and all of this stuff started to come to me. And for a long time, I didn't trust government at all. I mean, I still don't for the most part. But the different thing about today is, I honestly believe we have a person who is outside of that system, which is why they're fighting so hard, because they know that he's not one of them, and he can't be bought or he can't be scared. They don't have the dirt on him that they would somebody else, one of their other colleagues in Washington, and they know that he's going to be a major wrench in that system, and that's the number one reason, if you ask me, why they fight him so hard, why they try to tear down his image, and why it's always bad publicity. I noticed that when I saw um, the first year of his presidency leading up to the Trump, I mean the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and I just, based on all of that stuff, I said he's definitely America first. And albeit he may have ulterior motives, you know, but what we do know is that he is putting America first in all of his policies, and that can't be disputed. I'm not interested in clown shows. I'm sorry. I mean, I know the topic, the fact that I'm being interviewed now and what I do on my Facebook page, maybe I should have gave it um some attention, but I've seen everything I need to see from the left. I don't want to hear that you want to raise my taxes. I don't want to hear that you think healthcare is a right, because it's not. I don't want to hear that you think babies need to be. I don't. I've heard everything I need to hear from the left. Why would I watch that clown show?
Yeah.
It's one thing to be liberal in your policies and your views, but these people are so far left that they gone just outright stupid,
Does it fear you
and they
that one
can't
of
be
them?
reasoned with. I just, again, it's all the same thing repackaged. There's no difference. Even Kamala Harris, she's trying to establish herself as, something that's different, but she just has she's just another face of it. She has a different approach,
Right.
but it's still the
It
same
is. You're right.
godless
Right.
liberalism.
Right.
This is a very pivotal moment in our history. History is being written right now. We're going to talk about this very election 30 years from now, 50 years from now, 60 years from now, because there is no in between. Either you're going to be far left, which, let's outline some of these things. Let's not just gloss over this. Either you're going to be far left, which means you think babies should be killed as soon as they're born, you know, or you think that every American should make the same amount of money, and that we should be taxed at like a rate well above 70%, or you believe that nobody should own guns except for the police and government officials, or you believe that nobody should have the right to own farms and things of that nature. I mean, let's talk. Or you think that the corporate tax rate should go from a, a below average 21% back up to well over 40 or 50%, which will cause our jobs to flee this country again, just like it did under Barack Obama. Or you're going to be on the right. You're going to be conservative, which is giving us everything that we have now in the past 2 to 3 years, which is 165,000 jobs per month being added to the American citizens every month this year. 7 million jobs that have not been filled yet. You have burdensome regulations being cut, which caused these jobs that left us under Barack Obama to flood the country again and build new buildings and have all of these blue collar workers back working again. Jobs coming back to life in Michigan. I mean, it's just endless. People could help just by first of all paying it forward. I think the number one way right now that you can help me is, especially as a conservative, um, be loving to people. Go and love on somebody and show them, because what the left wants to do, they want to paint conservatives, especially white conservatives, out to be these hateful people who are very intolerant and don't, if you're not thinking like us, you can't be around. When it's actually the left that thinks like that. I'm conservative because I'm a Christian man, and I'm a Christian above anything. Before I'm a black man, I'm a before I'm an American, I'm a Christian. And so, even if you're not a Christian, even if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, what you can do is you can show the natural love that comes with being a conservative. You know, you can help me by helping your neighbor. Help me. I mean, you can also donate and share videos, I guess. But I think the only thing that's gonna have real change in this country is if we stop this armchair activism and actually be the America that we want to be, because we have the administration in place who said verbatim that they want to give the power back to the people, which means we are
Wow.
going back to the fundamentals of what this country is built upon. It's we the people, not we the government. So if we do have the power, we have the power. We can take this country to the next level by spreading love. If we were to start loving each other and people were to see that, if we had a whole few generations coming up seeing that love, the people that you don't even know, you're making new friends every day, every other month or so, just because you were being nice to somebody one day, or just because you helped somebody, you lended a helping hand, you gave a hug, you smiled, you told somebody it was gonna be okay, you made somebody's day. That's the only thing that's gonna make America great again. We got the numbers, the jobs are in place, the economy is booming, people are doing better, people are getting more educated. But if we don't have any love in the mix, I even mean for loving your liberal brother, because it's easy for those liberals to see now, because again we do have the numbers in place. It's easy for those liberals to see now that this is the only way to go anyway. Conservatism and capitalism is the most successful form of governance in the history of mankind. So let them see that, but you're gonna do it with love.